Hey friend, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anaya here. I post lifestyle, faith-based, and other creative content. If that sounds like your speed, just go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out. Today's video is giving mommy content. I'm going to be telling y'all how to wean your toddler, gently wean your toddler off of your breast, boob, whatever. And I know you're probably like,
girl, you look like you're 16.
But I'm 23 years old and I've done it successfully, and also I've watched like 1,001 videos, so I feel like this video will be beneficial one way or another. And if you don't feel like watching the whole thing, I also have timestamps, so what are you losing here? I decided to wean my toddler at 20 months, which is a year and 8 months. And I hope you just heard that and got some hope, because it is not impossible after your child has passed like the 6th month, 9th month mark. I know a lot of people have the impression that like they're just attached and it's going to be too overwhelmingly stressful and they're just not going to know how to adapt after that point, but that's a lie. A lie straight from the pits of hell, because absolutely not. Truthfully, at the end of the day, all you need is consistency and a couple of tweaks here or there, but it's possible. That's just the moral of the story. I decided to not go cold turkey either for 2 reasons, because I'm not about to put myself through that type of heartache, and neither am I going to put my son through that. Because do y'all know what filling your gorge is like? Oh my gosh. Also, another reason, the process can be tough in general, so I wouldn't want to make it more rough than it already has to be. I don't want to just strip him from something and he not have like any time to adjust in my normal time frame. So with that being said, I chose to do it gradually because it just made the most sense for both of us. So yeah, I'm going to tell you my tips and how I did that. Mind you, he's a co-sleeping toddler, so it's not just a how to wean your toddler, but how to wean a co-sleeping toddler, because I feel like that's two different ball games. Okay, so I'm gonna put y'all on. Thank me later. For my tips, I've separated them into 3 different categories, which is the preparation, the process, aka the nitty gritty, and the upkeep. Each category is equally important as far as like attaining the success and also maintaining it. First category is the prep, and that's basically just preparing yourself for the whole process to be successful. Find a good time for both you and your toddler. I think that if you pick the wrong time, whether it's too many transitions for your toddler or just a stressful time for you, I don't think it will be easy to stick to the process. With so much going on, it will be easy to like revert back to old patterns, because let's admit it, like breastfeeding is very much convenient once you get the hang of it. You just want to just start on a good note, because who wants to keep repeating the process? So we want to start off on a good note at a good time. Just start on a good foot. My second portion is to find a good milk replacement. So whatever that may look like for you, soy, you have pea, almond, you have 1%, 2%, whatever the case may be, there are options. Up it up a notch. Try different temperatures, because I know for my son, he did not want to drink anything cold or room temperature for the most part. He wanted just a little bit warm and just a little bit sweet. That may be the difference in your child not wanting to drink other milks. If you have tried other milks, is the temperature and also probably a little sweetness. And for sweetness, he like a little honey. Be mindful of that, because even after they pass 1, you still have to be mindful of the intake of honey. But yeah, that just what works for me and mine. So I just think it'll help the weaning process go smoother, and then you also won't be so worried by the time they're completely off your breast, because you know they'll have a milk that they'll like and depend on and things like that. Next is to talk to your toddler, because they're people too. You don't want to just do them a disservice by not even explaining to them what's going on, because they understand more than you think. You won't have as much of a stubborn toddler through the process if you explain to them, hey, no milk during this time. They'll have more of an idea of what to expect. So I think that can help on both ends of the spectrum for both you and your toddler. Okay, next in line is the nitty gritty, the process. And when I tell y'all, I've been on every side of YouTube trying to figure out what will work for me, because a lot of things work for people and their kids, but it wasn't gonna work for me. Okay, I just knew it. Some things I even tried and it just did not work out. But what I did come across, and it did work for me, and that's basically gradually weaning. And some people, they do it on a schedule. So say they cut out the least favorite feed and they keep the rest of the feeds, and then they gradually take one away. For example, if your toddler's favorite feed is the nighttime feed will be the last to go. So say you start off with eliminating the least favorite feed. So say the least favorite feed for your toddler is the afternoon. So the morning time, you would give your toddler your boob. The afternoon, that's when you'll say, okay, well, no boob this time. You give more boob at nighttime. The cycle will repeat until a certain amount of time goes by and they get into that schedule. And then once they are like situated, then you can go ahead and drop the next feed. Depending on what feed it was, I chose to like keep the process going a little longer. So in the beginning, it wasn't as long, but when I did the next feed after the least favorite feed, I feel like it took me a while. And I want to say it's important to tailor it to your own personal experience and how your toddler is taking it to it, because if you just strictly go to a schedule, it can be detrimental more than it can be beneficial. So if you feel like eliminating the favorite will be tough for your toddler, you might want to stick to that schedule for a little bit longer and then, you know, go no feeds at all. While you are doing the process, that's when I feel like it makes sense to introduce other milks or whatever milk you want to try. Say you try certain milk and your toddler doesn't like it, whether or not you're adjusting the temperature, whatever alteration you're doing to the milk and they just don't like it for whatever reason, you have more room to adjust and get everything together before they're just completely off of it. But you just know that all hope isn't lost because the process isn't over with. Help to bribe my toddler with other things, whether that be snacks, juice, games, toys, just to keep their mind off the fact that, hey, this is the usual time I be on your breast and now I'm not. Distracting will help as long as you can. And then also substituting another milk, especially if they take well to their milk, that will help as well. Another point is to not make your breasts so accessible, and this is especially for a co-sleeping mom, because when I'm asleep, oh my gosh, it's kind of hard to get me up like woke. So however he did it, he's just underneath there on my boob and I just feel a little tugging, and it's just like, it's really out of pocket. So during that time period when I had to cut the night feed off, it was really important to not have clothes that were so accessible for him to get to. So whether that be you have to wear a sports bra or you have to just wear, I don't know, clothes that they can't see cleavage or whatever, you just have to keep that in mind, because for one, that's going to put the thought on their mind, and for two, they can just revert back into breastfeeding during the nighttime if you're not like a light sleeper, because it's easy to get to. Even during the day, like, you'd be amazed. Next thing you know, you just be amazed how easy they can get to your breast. That's all I'm saying. So you don't want the process to be prolonged. It's just best to have clothes that make your boobs, breasts that accessible. And now we're down to the upkeep. Arguably, I feel like this is probably the most important of them all. Though I said they all play their role, I think that this one really matters, because if you don't keep this one up like while it's still fresh, it's just like, what was all that for? You just want to make sure you are consistent, that you don't give into your toddler's desires to go back and get back into the process of breastfeeding, because then you'll be doing it all over again, because I'm sure it's the reason that you wanted to wean them in the first place. And consistency is key. Toddlers are smarter than people give them credit for. A toddler will not take you serious if they know that you're going to give in at a certain point. So just put your foot down. Seeing the progress after dropping the feeds and knowing, wow, he can survive without this, that motivated me to keep going, and it motivated me to know that it is possible. Life after breastfeeding is possible, especially when it's your first child. You're like, oh my gosh, how do people do this? And it really feels like jail. That could be your motivation to not go back, to not revert back. So no matter what different factors in life may be coming at you, hitting you heavy, and it just may seem easy just to let me do this just this one time, or this one time will be fine. Remain disciplined and just don't give in to that desire, whether it comes from you, whether it comes from your toddler trying to try it. Just don't give in. That's just the moral story. At least be consistent enough to when your breast stop producing milk. Even for me now, I have to still be consistent. Even though nothing is coming out anymore, I think that my toddler is at a point where he just wants to use it as a pacifier, and it's just like, absolutely not. Like, no. And now he'll really just try, like, he'll either try to fondle my nipple or just like get real close to it like he's gonna latch on again. I just really don't know why he thinks it's just still a possibility for him to be back on there. That just goes to show that consistency is key. Even if they're not using it for milk anymore, they can very much well still be trying to use it as a pacifier, and then it's just like you back in the jail all over again. So yeah, don't let them trick you and don't fool yourself. So those are all my tips. Hope you are motivated to try your process, and I wish you the best of luck. I want to thank you for watching, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment any milks that you're willing to try, or any milks that your toddler is currently on that work well for you, just in case my toddler want to act brand new and switch up. And yeah, comment any tips you may have for any mothers trying to wean from breastfeeding, anything like that. And hope to see you back soon. Don't be shy, friend. I know you want to come back. Bye, y'all.